My name is not important. What is important is what I'm going to do. I just fucking hate this world and these human worms feasting on its carcass. My whole life is just cold, bitter hatred. And I always wanted to die violently. This is the time of vengeance, and no life is worth saving. And I will put in the grave as many as I can. It's time for me to kill. And it's time for me to die.
Hatred is a game that I think had great potential, but failed at every level beyond conceptualization. I'll just be showing the first level of the game here as I talk, because from what I can tell, there isn't a whole lot to see beyond this. The game feels like it was generated by an artificial intelligence that based the game off of what it saw in Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty. It's a top-down shooter, as you can clearly tell, which is not faulty in of itself, but with a limit of only 2 spawn-ins on each level, this becomes an insane challenge. I initially started the game on the extreme difficulty, but after discovering this starvation of attempts, I reduced the difficulty to hard, and then lowered it again to easy after finding that there would be dozens of enemies dumping lead into the player character from off-screen. Top-down shooters are difficult because of the clunkiness of their control schemes and aiming, but it works for a game like Hotline Miami, where the player is free to take as many tries as they want and explore different approaches, allowing every level to be played at their own pace and with many different possibilities. Another thing that Hatred lacks. Levels are linear, with the only objective of killing as many people as possible, and the only method of doing so is with guns. Not every game needs to have a high variety of things to do, but it is often paired with some kind of narrative to draw you in, which again, Hatred lacks. You play as a character known only as the antagonist, who hates humankind and decides to kill everyone in New York City and himself. It is dry and sounds like what I would write for a video game when I was 12, and at that age, I'd probably play the shit out of it. But it doesn't have strong gameplay, and it isn't driven by any motivating force. The reason the game itself was made was because of political correctness being enforced upon games. The whole argument of games causing school shootings and making children violent, which all sensible people know to be entirely false, because the event of playing video games and becoming a mass murderer cannot be connected by the wildest stretch of imagination. Therefore, it is the point of the game to go well across the line and basically say, well, if you think video games cause mass shootings, we'll just make a game about a mass shooting on a scale that is completely unheard of. It is in this way that the character does not play the game, it is the antagonist playing the player. The game was rated AO, or Adults Only, for violence, which is shocking considering this game is not remotely as violent as some Call of Duty games, but it is clear that the rating is due to the concept of the purposeless killing of civilians. I mean, you heal by mutilating helpless victims as they beg for mercy, so I suppose that's fair. And really, this only goes to assist Hatred in the terms of marketing. Despite all of these points the game makes, and its attempt to determine where the line is and how far it can be crossed in the medium of video games, Hatred is a flop. The game is not fun. The difficulty scale is bizarre, and a game trying to speak to the public and make an observation to teach people something cannot do so without a story. There has to be a reason for it all. Detroit Become Human is a commentary on racism, using a race of literal non-humans to prove that all people are equal as sentient beings. This can be done through having memorable characters, Connor, Kara, Marcus. This is not something that is going to be achieved with someone like the antagonist. potato out of potato.